Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Janae and I'm the owner of Confidently You Creations. For the ones who are new here, and for the ones who have been here before, welcome back. So for today's tutorial, I'm going to be doing another Peekaboo Snowglobe Tumbler. It's just another way that you can create this Peekaboo Snowglobe Tumbler. Before we did, we used E6000 and we used like a hot glue gun once we get to the bottom. So I'm going to show you guys another way that you can successfully complete a snow globe tumbler if you've been struggling using the other method. Everything I use for today's tutorial will be linked down in the description box. You can access the description box by that little triangle that you see, or it'll say show more. You'll see a discount code for the glitter that I used, and you'll also see a discount for the decal. So I guess that's enough for me. Let's go ahead and jump into this tutorial. Alrighty guys, we are back with another snow globe tutorial. So I've already prepped this and I spray painted it with a flat white spray paint, and I have my ModPodge here, which we're going to apply with our ModPodge brush. You're just going to apply a very thin coat of ModPodge to your tumbler, not going too far up underneath that lip of the snow globe part. We don't want too much glitter to get underneath there because it'll be hard for our epoxy to seal in the glitter. So once you're done putting on a thin coat of your ModPodge, you're going to apply your glitter. This one is Allure from Glitterful. It has a super pretty shine to it, so I thought this would be perfect for this Valentine's tumbler. So once you're done with all of that, pretty easy, pretty quick. You don't have to do a bottom of it, so that's awesome. You're just going to tap off the excess amount of glitter there, and then you're going to let this hang out to dry for about an hour or two. ModPodge dries pretty quickly, but just make sure it's dry to the touch. Once you do that, you are ready to epoxy this thing. You don't have to seal it. It's just one color glitter, so you don't have to worry about doing that. I did apply about 20 milliliters of epoxy to this. Like I said, I always enjoy these because you don't have to worry about doing the bottom. I do a little bit of the bottom like rim of it, just to make sure I seal in the epoxy a little bit. Once you start doing this, you'll know what I mean. I just go to the bottom just a little bit around the curvature of the bottom, just to make sure I seal in all the glitter. Same thing for the top. As you can see, I want to get underneath the lip just a little bit to where the epoxy can seal that glitter. Alrighty, so you apply 2 coats of epoxy. So once the first coat is dry, you'll go in at about 6 hours and apply the second coat. Okay, and then once the second coat is dry, you are going to trim your rim. Technically, I was supposed to have painter's tape over this. In the last tutorial, you are to put painter's tape on here to where you don't have to do this part, but I took it off once I painted. It's no big deal if you forget like I did. You're just gonna have to do a little bit more around the rim part, so no big deal. So you're just going to go around with your crafting knife, making sure to get all that excess amount of epoxy off of it. And you're also going to work on the inside as well to remove the excess that got underneath the lip of that. You want to make sure you go around, get it nice and smooth. There can be some chunks in there that can affect the plastic part from going down all the way. So once you've gotten everything from underneath there, just take some acetone and go around the rim to make sure there's no paint or no excessive amount of epoxy there, just to smooth things out. You want to do this before and not after you put the plastic piece on, because acetone and the plastic does not go well together. It will make that plastic piece cloudy if you get acetone on it, okay? So now you're going to mix up your epoxy. Typically, it'll take about 5 to 7 milliliters of epoxy to fill the inside of the lip of the cup. I'm going to call it the lip of the cup. I don't know what else to call it. It's just that little piece that is the lip, okay? So you're going to put that epoxy in that little lip of the cup all the way around until it's full. You can put it halfway full, you can put it all the way full, whatever. Obviously, if you put it to the tip of it, you're going to have an overflow, and it is going to be some overflow inside of the cup, but honestly I'd rather have that, just like a little amount of epoxy that overflows inside of the cup, to know that it's perfectly sealed, you know. So you really can't put like too much in there, obviously, because it's gonna like overflow, but just put enough halfway, or if you want to fill it up, you can. This is a very messy part, so I actually on the second one, I actually used a disposable like monojet syringe. You can get them from like Walgreens, you can get them from Amazon, wherever, but you just kind of suck up the epoxy inside of it, and then you just spread it on in there. It was so much easier, so I suggest you guys get some disposable syringes from Amazon or wherever, because it makes this so much less messy. After that, I took a baby wipe because I have a 1-year-old. I have plenty of those. And I just wiped the excessive amount of epoxy that overflowed off of the cup. So before, we used E6000 and we didn't clean up until afterwards. But with epoxy, you want to make sure to clean up before this sets up. Then you're going to put your plastic dome piece on. Let that sit overnight or 12 hours, whichever one is more convenient for you. And yeah, so I typically let mine sit overnight, and I know it's dry. I try to pull it off and it does not come off. So now I'm ready to fill it. I use a 50/50 ratio. So I use half glycerin and half water. You can do about 4 ounces of glycerin and 4 ounces of distilled water, not just regular water, distilled water. Mix those together, and you're going to pour it in. So I like to put in half of my solution first and then glitter and then top it off, but it's completely up to you. You can put all your glitter in, or you can, you know, do it the way I do it. Sometimes I don't know how certain glitters is going to look in the cup, so I always like to put the water in first to where I can see as soon as it hits the water, because some glitters like change colors or it becomes translucent. So I like to see the glitter hit the water and I'm like, okay, this is great. And if I don't like it, I just pour it back out, you know. Anyways, so just my story. So now I'm just going to pour in all of my glitter. Now that I have half of my solution in, I'm using these red and pink hearts from Michaels. As you can see, the recollections on the bottles. So that is where I got them from. And you just pour it in there until you're happy with the amount that you have. Honestly, there's no specific amount of glitter that you can add to it. I just don't add way too much because I do glitter the like the base of the cup. So I do want you guys to see the base of it. If it was like a Starbucks tumbler, just fill that bad boy up with whatever, because there is no, you know, like there's no base, if that makes sense. But I always don't like to add too much. I just like to add enough to where there's glitter just all around. So just add your glitter, and then you're going to top it off with the rest of your solution. After that, you are going to knock off all of the glitter and knock it inside of the cup. And then you're going to take a paper towel, and then you're going to wipe off the water and the glycerin solution. Therefore, this next step, there won't be, you know, that glycerin, that oily part on there to interact or interfere with this silicone that we're about to put on to seal it. So this is a silicone, all-purpose silicone that I use, a sealer, to seal the bottom of this. So we're just going to go around. You don't want to fill the tumbler up to all the way, by the way. You just kind of want to fill it up enough to where you can add this, if that makes sense. So I don't want the water and this to touch. So I just, if that gives you a visual of like how much water to fill it up to. But I'm just going to squeeze this out. It does take some elbow grease to squeeze this thing. So I'm just going to speed it up so y'all don't see me struggle. You do want to also make sure you wear a mask. This, like hit me in the face and I was like, so you want to wear a mask whenever you're working with this, and also some gloves. You don't want to touch this solution. If you don't even wear the gloves, obviously just, be very careful not to touch it. It is a chemical, and it has a very, very strong smell. So same thing as if you're working with epoxy, treat this the exact same with your respirator mask or some type of N95 mask, or just a regular mask, just something to cover your face. So once you are finished with that, set that to the side to let that dry. I typically let it dry overnight, but 12 hours is the cure time. Once that is cured, you're going to place your top on and you are good to go with that part. Okay. So now we're just going to move on to placing our decals. You can give that a nice shake to where you can kind of see everything on the inside. It is so cute. Can't wait for y'all to see it finished. But I'm just going to wipe this down with some rubbing alcohol to get any oils off of it from the solution, my hands or whatever. Just making sure we have a clean surface to work on. So when we place our decals, we won't have any issues. So I just printed out just some random heart shapes and some random lip shapes for our Valentine's theme. No rhyme or reason. And I also cut out a 3x3 piece of transfer tape because I will be placing a decal on this after it's spray painted. So I'm placing this on there to just kind of give me a map or a guide where to not place these decals, so I can leave enough room basically for that 3x3 decal that will be placed after painting. And then I'll remove it, of course, after we're done. So I'm just going to go ahead and place these on the cup in just random spots. And yeah. So I went ahead and removed that transfer tape because it did get in my way, but I kind of already had an idea of where to put the last little kiss. And so now we are going to take this outside and we're going to spray paint it the color of our choice. And I'm going to spray paint mine red. And this is a removable vinyl, by the way, if anyone was wondering. So it is easier to get off once the spray paint is applied. So I'm going to go outside and spray paint this. I believe I did 3 coats of the red because since it was a darker color, I had to do multiple coats of it. So yeah, so this is the ending result of the red, and I'm going to go ahead and take off each one of these decals. So I took off all the decals and I ended up going to go ahead and epoxy this. I just did it off camera because you guys see me do it before. I epoxied it and added some glitter to the epoxy to add that shine that you see. I'll link that also in the description box. So go ahead and line up your decal with the lines on the transfer paper to where you know it's on there straight. That's why I always prefer transfer tape with lines. Go ahead and remove that off of the backing and place that on your tumbler. So this decal, what I got from Creative Fabrica, that will be linked in the description box. Also, the exact link where I got it from. And again, Creative Fabrica is only $1 for the first month. You have access to thousands and thousands of decals and fonts and all that jazz. And then thereafter is $19, but it's still so worth it. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply this to the tumbler. And I did end up losing a little piece of my, I don't know, the little lines on the O. But I'm just going to place that afterwards. No big deal. Alrighty, so after that's done, I did have some leftover little hearts from a previous project. And I'm all about recycling. So I saw it. And I was like, this would be perfect. So I just added this last touch to the cup before I epoxied it. So you can add stars, hearts, more lips, whatever it is that you want. But I just saw this and thought it was, perfect to go with the cup. So once you've added all your last minute things and everything that you want to add to this, you are going to sand the top rim of this, okay? You want to sand to expose that thin line of stainless steel like we always do, so that our last coats of epoxy have something to adhere to. You're going to place 2 coats of epoxy on top of this, and then that's it. This is the final result of our snow globe tumbler, our Valentine snow globe tumbler. Thank you guys so much, as always, for staying to the end of this video. Please like it and give it a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it, or if you like our new way of sealing our tumblers. Please subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. We upload every Friday. Again, thank you guys so much. And this Valentine tumbler actually sold in 30 minutes of me posting it on social media. Follow me on Instagram. It's Confidently You Creations, and I'll see you guys soon.